Anyways, TLDR, great run, and he didn't even get bopped in the finals because he took 2 maps of Clem as well with 140 ping disadvantage. So once more, that man is in good shape, but the other guy is in very good shape too. I don't know who we're introducing first, perhaps the Yellow Terran. Let's just go ahead and give it to this man. Can he make it into the upper bracket round of 8 of TSL? He is the best player to ever come out of China, representing Kaizi Gaming. It's time.
And his opponent, spawning down on the bottom left for Team NV, their new ace, their new champion. He is on a surge. It is Creator. And the picture-in-picture is showing us an engineering bay block, if I'm not mistaken, yeah? What it looks like to me. Ooh, pretty sexy.
How does Creator deal with this? There are still many different ways that people deal with it. Alright, he's just gonna pull a bunch of boys from the main base, and he does not want to let this thing go up. A decent amount of HP already on it. The SCV does go down, though. A little bit of unlucky there with the RNG. I mean, that's not supposed to happen for time. You can take a bunch of damage on it, but you're not supposed to lose the SCV that quickly.
No, you're certainly not. And Creator, he checks for the timing for that engineering bay, gets down there and shuts it down very quickly. And he doesn't have to build his Nexus on the third base. He obviously loses a bit of a lost mining time for those probes, but it's super, super worthwhile to shut that down. Like, that is, I would say, especially killing the SCV, this is a pretty great start for Creator already.
Yep, you can't be upset about that. Of course, he lost a bit of mining time with all the probes not mining in the main base. But Time also loses mining time by grabbing one of his very first SCVs, sending it to the other side of the map, and then in return not even getting what he was looking for. Time's got an interesting follow-up where it's factory before expand. Often when you see this, it's like multiple Reapers and a Hellion or something like, right? Not this time. He's sending out another SCV. That's going to give me the idea that he wants to build a starport, and maybe we'll go for a Hellion drop, unless we just want to take the Zelnaga Watchtower, but I can't really imagine that being the case. So this must be a proxy starport Hellion drop, correct?
That would make them... Yeah, it's got to be. It's... Anything else would be very strange at this point. But yeah, no, that's exactly what it's going to be. It feels like it's been a while since we've seen this. And it's... I know that, you know, once the Protoss player scouts that there's a reactor on the factory, they're going to have a good idea of what's coming. But I still think that it's the kind of thing that is really powerful to bust out in a tournament once or twice.
Yeah, 100%. And especially against the Twilight Council opening, it's one of these openings where it's like, even if you know this is coming, that doesn't mean that you necessarily will be 100% ready for it. Once in a blue moon, it could also be a Liberator, where it's 4 Hellions and Marines in the natural, and then Liberator goes into the main base. But that is not going to be the case this time around. It's just a straight-up Hellion block. There's a lot of surface area to block or to drop these Hellions in the main base. There is no shield battery, no pylon near the main. Oh my goodness. Creator is actually not necessarily thinking, I feel like, about dropping the Hellions in the main, because he's very focused on the front. But if these adepts are this far out of position, this is going to hurt, man. You want to play the guessing game? How many probes are going to fall?
14. I'm going 14.
14 is high, but I'm feeling it. All right, I'll go 13.
Okay, I like it. All right, here they come. They are going to go to town on these probes. Already a couple workers going down. Decent body blocking with the Stalkers so far. And nowhere near as much damage as I would have expected. Look at how many super low HP probes there are. 12, 15 probes.
Well, definitely near. And then I should have the prices right you. I was like, 15 seems a little much. And I was with you. At first, I was like, well, this is actually not going to be anywhere near the 13 or 14 that you thought and I thought were going to go down. But that final Hellion was able to get a couple of cash money shots off. And I feel like if Creator would have moved the probes around a little bit, that would not have happened. Now, normally you can say, like, is this game-ending damage? Not quite, right? Because this was of a one-base opening with a slightly later command center. So it's more extreme than if this was a Reaper fast expand into a Hellion drop. That's obviously a smaller investment. This was a big investment, absolutely a victory for Time. He's happy with it, but this isn't, in a weird way, as crazy as that little Lingron buy, for instance, that Raynor had in Game 3. Because Time obviously has a big investment in this too. His follow-up is going to be slowed down. Time loves this. He's definitely ahead. but I don't think this is necessarily game over.
The thing that I don't like about this for Creator right now, more so than obviously losing so many probes, is the fact that he was doing a bit of a middle-of-the-road build. So it wasn't 4-gate Blink Stalker, so it's not like there was the potential for a huge counterattack. 3-gate Blink Stalker you can still get a little bit done with, but it wasn't 2-gate Blink with a super fast third, or even 2-gate Robo Blink with a super fast third. It was 3-gate Blink, which is meant to shut down everything, give you a little bit of potential counterattack damage, get you a good number of stalkers up. And it feels like with the amount of probes that he lost, the recovery route isn't as nice for him as it could be. Now, I like the direction he's going from here, going straight up into Colossus, and a bit of a delayed third base behind this. But I'm a huge fan of Time's position right now.
Yeah, and I'm sure that Time is a big fan of it too, right? If you go for a Hellion drop, that's the kind of damage that you're looking for. I think it was hard for Creator to get the Nexus a lot quicker for 2 reasons. A, you want to saturate those mineral lines as quickly as possible, and after you lose 15 probes, I think that has priority over getting another Nexus, but not being able to build the probes. And I think the second one is just that he took all his gases. And if you take all 4 gases, then Creator's priority was not rush out 3 bases. His priority was rush out the Colossus, and once I've got 1 or 2 Colossus out, I feel like I can take the game from there. Well, the first push is going to be the scariest one, right? And I do remember a game between Creator and Maru, and I think they had it at the DreamHack Masters Valencia offline, where Creator was actually like ultra dead for 12 minutes straight, but he did such a good job in hanging in there. And every single time I thought there is no way that the Protoss survives, he kept on dragging it out. So let's see if he can do that performance all over again. This time around, it perhaps looks even more dire as Time's army is just big, Time's army is powerful, but shield battery overcharge, Steadfast are pretty damn good.
That they are, but is it going to be good enough here? There are 2 tanks, there's a fair number of Marauders, +1 stim, combat shields. The big 3 upgrades for the Terran player are going to be coming on in here. He is going to take down the Colossus well before it can get in range of the shield battery. The tank setting on up. Second Colossus is going to pop out, and shield battery overcharge will be available to keep this one alive. And it actually kind of fortuitous that it tanks the Widowmine shot right there. But is that even going to matter?
If we keep this Nexus alive and we warp in a few more units, the Zealot charge is quite close to finishing up. Finally, we have extended thermal lens. I mean, this Nexus is going to take a beating. If Creator wants to save the Nexus, he needs to start fighting right here, right now. It seems like he's okay with letting it die. He doesn't want to take another bad fight. And losing the Nexus is problematic. The double drop in the main base, I mean, that's just the icing on the cake. Creator is not going to be able to deal with it. I feel that he should have been a bit more decisive against the 2 tanks and 4 Marauders there. Because losing that first Colossus was really painful, but it did cost Time a lot of fire units. And then I thought maybe there is hope. Oh my god, is he going to deny charge? No, he's not going to deny charge, but it does seem like this is game over in the end. Sweet follow-up there, right, by Time. Instead of rallying everything to the front, just kind of finishing it up with the double drop in the main base. That's really well done.
Yeah, certainly. And we even see a little bit of a misjudgment right there from Creator. He didn't need to chrono boost, but a little bit of panic showing right there. And he's like, oh god, I'm going to lose this. We can obviously tell very easily because we look at it. We're like, oh, there's like 2 seconds left on the upgrade. And it's still got, 500-600 HP. But Creator even panicking a little bit under the gun right there. Now, I will say, Creator, and you kind of mentioned it a little bit, Creator is one of the best Protoss players at surviving. And that doesn't mean he's going to catch up anytime soon. It doesn't mean he's even going to catch up or survive in this game for the next 3 or 4 minutes. But he is so damn good at managing to stay alive when it feels like it's impossible. And he did get up to that charge upgrade. Now, I think the best case scenario, or best thing Time can do right now, is just to keep pumping his advantage, I think the best decision would be go straight up into 2-2 and just carry the lead from there.
Could also go Ghost and another Starport, right? And then try to end it with 1-1 and land an EMP and then have a couple of Vikings gunning down. Because 2-2 is great, but it's more important, I think, that the Viking numbers are there against the Colossus. But yeah, Creator really is very resilient because after the double drop, I thought he was going to tap out, but he's like, all right, I'm so far out of position. This is dealing a lot of damage. And I can't blame him for chrono boosting the Twilight, because I also thought it was going to be very close. He's been doing a good job against these mines. I love when he immediately realized when he had Shield Battery Overcharge active, he's like, hey, my Colossus is here. That's where the mine can shoot at my Colossus. That's not a problem. We'll just get healed up immediately. That is cute. I mean, it looks dark for Creator, but imagine he gets 2-3 Disruptors. He lands a Nova, one little Zealot run by, and he would actually be back into it. I think the time is, in a weird way, also surprised like, mate, you had like nothing. You were losing your third base. I have a double drop in your main base. You had 0 units there. Stuff was unpowered. Game's supposed to end, bro. And Creator's like, nope. I do my best work from these spots. And let's just keep on playing video games. And somehow we have a second Robo on the way. We've got a Warp Prism. We've got DTs. Like, time still needs to be careful.
And you know what? I think it all goes back to that decision to sack the third. When you were saying, yeah, he realizes he can't fight the third. And hold the phone, we've actually got DTs. There's detection, though. That's not going to get anything done. And in fact, the Vikings on the right side might take down this War Prism as well. Okay, he does save the DT, but great positioning from Time right here. Just checking all the boxes on what he needs to do to stay ahead and not let his opponent catch back up. But yeah, Creator recognized, yeah, if I take this fight, I probably lose the game right now, or I can't fight around this Nexus, so he just lets it go. And because of the maturity of that decision, he's still in this game instead of us being, a couple minutes in a game too.
Mm-hmm. Time is definitely doing basically everything right, but he still needs to be careful when he takes the fight. Like, his army should be way bigger and should be way more powerful. But sometimes it's still easy to feel like, all right, this is it. You land an EMP, you go forward, Shield Battery Overcharge keeps the Colossus alive. You try to split against a Nova, but you split into the wrong direction. So it's not totally done and dusted yet. Throws down a good scan there, because imagine one of those balls goes off. You're forced to go home again, and then Creator really is back into the mix. Still gonna be a little bit tricky. Time definitely has all the tools. The enhanced shockwave upgrade is not quite done yet, though, so these EMPs are gonna be tiny EMPs. Will that matter? It seems like we don't have the firepower to keep the Colossus alive. And unfortunately, without a Nexus done, you can Shield Battery Overcharge. This Terran army with 2-2 upgrades and a couple of EMPs is most likely going to be good enough for Time to indeed finally close it out. It's a really strong game won by Time, man, who just keeps on being very impressive and is now one map win away from breaking into the top 8 at TSL, at least when it comes to the upper bracket, but that'd be a big run already.
Yeah, absolutely. Great play from both players. Obviously, that Hellion drop got incredible amounts of damage done. 15 probes is a lot of work. That is really, really good. But it's always difficult to close out a game against a player like Creator, who is so good defensively. So the fact that he was just as patient as he was, it was textbook. That being said, we still have to give a little bit of kudos to Creator. If he gave himself the best opportunity to win from an absolutely abysmal position. So, I mean, well played from both players. And I am absolutely feeling like Creator has a very decent shot for this series still. As weird as it is to say right after Time 1, I am absolutely not counting out Creator.
No, and Creator is not going to lose another 15 probes in the beginning of the game. And on top of that, Data C is actually kind of annoying when you're playing Twilight. If you start falling behind, suddenly it's like, this is a Terran map. Well, if you're not behind, you can be like, oh, this is a Protoss map. Zealot run bys, Prisms into the main base, Phoenixes and Oracles everywhere. But once you start falling behind, then suddenly there are so many holes in your defense. And yeah, Time is obviously good enough to capitalize on that. And that double drop was very sweet. And it put him even further ahead than he already was. And in the end, he also stayed very calm, cool, and collected. He just looked at his army and he's like, nope, my army is bigger, my army is better. And he just picked down those Colossus and took it from there. So let's see what Game 2 has in store for us. Tropical Sacrifice is going to be our battleground. Bottom left side, representing Kaisi Gaming, one map away from upper bracket top 8. It's time.
And his opponent spawning up the top right for Team NV. Can he bring it back? It is Creator in the purple.
I gotta say,
there was.
Go ahead.
Oh, sorry, go on.
No, you go ahead.
I wasn't going to say anything of value.
Neither was I, but I just wanted to say that I have been low-key a little bit salty in a not serious manner, but in a funny manner, that I picked Time relatively early in the caster Civil War because I've always been a fan of Time and I know how good he can be. He's just a bit inconsistent, and it's not inconsistent because he can't perform. We just know that he's inconsistent because sometimes he just doesn't play for a little while, and then obviously you get worse in StarCraft 2. But where was this time when the caster Civil War is going on? Because it's final after final in the European Weekly, and he just looked fantastic in Game 1 against Creator. I feel that lately he truly is on the money, and he just seems to be enjoying himself, and he's playing some very good StarCraft.
Well, I gotta tell you, it sounds like Terran players are maybe the ones you want to avoid then in the Caster Civil War in the... what was the predecessor to the Caster Civil War? The War Chest Team League.
War Chest Team League, yeah.
Yeah. We got to talk about this game in just a little bit, but I want to finish the point because Innovation did the same thing to Zombie Grub. Now, I don't think we would put necessarily Time at Innovation's level just yet, but in terms of the potential and in terms of the expectations, I assume the letdown was probably pretty similar.
Yeah, I mean, he wasn't that bad. Like, he definitely won a couple of games, but I could have maybe waited to pick him, but I picked him in the 3rd round. Also, as just a sign, a vote of confidence, as you may, you know. Whereas, like, Time, I really believe in you and how good you can be. And he wasn't bad. He definitely won a couple of games, but he definitely was not as good as he's currently playing. But yeah, enough about tournaments of the past. Let's talk about this game. Creator had a very feisty low ground gateway. He did that to make sure that his first units could run to the other side of the map as quickly as possible. And he's going to complement that low ground gateway with a proxy Stargate. Now, if you're Time, and it's 2 minutes and 10 seconds, and there is a Zealot on your side of the map, you're a little bit like, what? That's not totally normal. Now you see the Adept follow-up, but more often than not, this has a meaning. There is a reason for a Zealot to be there, and that's not just, I'm going to try to get lucky. No, that's I'm going to try to be in your face from the very get-go, so my follow-up will do a lot more damage.
And the interesting thing right here, oh, nice positioning. Reaper trying to juke right there, wasn't able to get away, but it had enough regeneration anyway, so it's no problem. Something that's really neat about this, by the way, is that Creator, even though he loses that Zealot for theoretically no value, he prevents his opponent from scouting. Now, are there Widow Mines anywhere? I think this is the first Widow Mine in production right now. This Oracle is going to get in a very, very quick fashion. If the Adept can bait the Widow Mine to the front, this Oracle could get massive damage done.
Yeah, but Time wasn't born last night. He's not doing that. That would be crazy. Just revealing the mine in the first place like that is not something you want to do. Now, we know that there's a Reaper, by the way, in the main base. Reaper is being chased by a bunch of probes, I believe. I know we're looking at the Oracle. The Reaper already getting a double kill and a lot of lost mine. And look at that Reaper go. I mean, sure, that Oracle is cool, but Time's Reaper here. This is a sick Reaper, man. Don't forget that it almost went down on the top left side. Now, instead, a lot of lost mining time, 3 probe kills. Can we take a look at the income graph observer just to show how much of an impact that had? Because I looked at the minimap and I just saw a big blur of purple chasing that Reaper. That's big, man. Sorry to interrupt you, but that was big.
No, that's huge, and I'm glad you did because I actually didn't notice it. You know, my multitasking isn't quite as good. I rely on Creep to see things, so I don't have to look at the minimap as much. I just wait for those alerts to go off. It doesn't work very well, but that's the impact of keeping that Reaper alive. If you told me that a Reaper would get more worker kills than a proxy Oracle play, I would laugh at you. I would laugh in your face. There's no chance that's supposed to happen. Huge start for Time, and now I'm really worried for Creator. Oh, cheeky little Widow Mine right there on top of the barracks. I like that a lot.
Yep, but do we have enough in the natural? It seems like the answer is yes. Ooh, Creator needs to be careful. Took a lot of damage on that Oracle. Time is just having a flawless start, and his follow-up is kind of interesting, right? Because in a weird way, it's just a 2-1-1. Very quick stim done way before Blink. This is in a weird way somewhat similar to what we saw earlier today, where it's Phoenix into Blink. Now, Oracle into Blink is a lot more standard, but I feel like it doesn't scale that well against these kinds of Terran builds. Especially not after you've been taking damage. You're not dealing any damage, but you've also tried to at least make some investments in finding some damage early on. I think that Cyclone can just run into the stasis trap, by the way. It wouldn't even be that bad because it's kind of a permanent scout. Oh, Time is going to pick up units. That's a bit risky, but Blink is nowhere near done. So, Widow Mine fires at a Stalker, gets the kill, drop in the main base, should be able to deal a lot of damage. Time is also just kind of bopping Creator here, but that's crazy, because who would have predicted that in his right mind? But Time is just so damn good at the moment. What has this man been doing lately, Steadfast? I assume it has to do with a lot of playing StarCraft. Creator is so desperate at the moment, he's going for a hidden Nexus.
I think that's a great decision from Creator, and if this game goes longer, it could really pay dividends for him. But now we see this early kind of cheeky shenanigans from Creator getting punished a little bit. Oh, is he going to lose the pylon for Blink?
Yep.
Oh, 5 seconds left.
Mate, this is insane. It's actually a massacre at the moment. Creator has no blink. He's going to try to bring it back with a Proxy Nexus, but Proxy Nexus is good enough. Time will just look at his army and be like, hey, your army kind of sucks, man. The gateways get on power too. And 6 minutes.